There's sometimes so little thought that goes into showing up on video. A lot of people just kind of do what they've always done in terms of preparation, or just avoid it like they always have. They'd rather do anything but go on video. And so what I want to talk with you about for a moment or so now as we go for a walk along the lovely Jimbaran Bay here in Bali is I want to inspire you just to give it some thought. How do you prepare to show up? To show up on video, to get ready to go on stage, to speak in front of a group of people? It's a really important question because if we don't put much thought into it, we can kind of just keep bumbling along the way we always have. Now, your strategy might well be, without thinking it through, just to avoid it altogether, to be the last person to speak in the room. So I hope that nobody calls on you to stay small, not to go online, not to share your thoughts. Or your strategy might be to do what you've always done in terms of performance and focus on, the things that might sort of get your mind set in terms of memorizing a script, thinking about your breathing, your heart rate, your expressions, your hand gestures, your body language. What are you going to choreograph? And I want to suggest, friends, that both of these things can end up bringing you undone because both of them are ultimately barriers to you showing up authentically, to connect in a real way. Friends, Evan Batten is my name. I am the Unretired Reporter. And I want to share with you an idea that I think will end up challenging how it is that you show up. I do have a program that I offer to take people through. It's the start of the coaching program that I do with people called Project V. And this is really where I bring everything I've been doing for the last 30 years in mainstream media, working for most of that time as a nightly news reporter in the crime round. I bring all of the things that I've discovered through that time into this program. And I coach people through it asynchronously over WhatsApp, platforms like that. And my clients, typically C-suite leaders all over the world, take on this storyteller mindset. But at the start of this whole process, which can go on for quite a few months, is a really profound experience. And that's what I want to share with you all now, the start of that experience. Because in just a matter of days or weeks, I actually see massive transformation with my clients. And I see them take a step away from performance towards just authentically showing up. It is the easiest way to make video content. It means you can do it without a script, without memorizing a set of ideas. It means you can just be yourself and show up on video. I love what I do now because I see people really able to change their impact on the planet. To go from being reluctant leaders, shy people, or avoidant leaders, and help them to actually be leaders who are visible, who consistently show up, who are authentic in the way that they show up on video. So, what does this mean for you right now as you watch this video and think about this 24-hour challenge, the BALI 24-hour challenge as it is? I want you to think about how you go on video and how is it you prepare and what do you notice in yourself as you go to be on video. If you're anything like me, when I started out as a news reporter, I was terrible and I hated it. I loved the storytelling, I loved being involved in the process, but I hated actually trying to be authentic because I had no idea how to do it, no point of reference. In fact, the focus, my bosses could see that I had potential, but their focus was really on do these things. This is the performance. Get voice coaching, get media training. And the focus just really zeroed in for me on how do I speak, how do I breathe, how do I enunciate particular words, how do I use my hand gestures, my body language to emphasize the points that we're wanting to make here. And it really just served to make me more artificial, more robotic, more like a puppet, less connected to the words that I was wanting to say, less connected to the message that I was wanting to share, steps away from my purpose while at the same time stepping towards this embodied confidence, this mask of confidence that wasn't authentic at all, but felt at least better than what I had been doing up until then, which was floundering. So friends, I don't know if you resonate with that, if you've had corporate media training, if you've been told, memorize the script, if you felt that disconnect with, hang on, this is my area of expertise, and yet when I try and memorize a script or read a teleprompter, I just don't feel like I can show up authentically. I sound like a robot. I look like one. It looks awkward. I don't like how I look and sound on video. So friends, here's the opportunity for you. Whether that's been you or whether you've just been avoiding the spotlight altogether. I'll get the marketing team to make a video. We'll hire an actor to do it. Get a spokesperson to do it on my behalf. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I'm too busy. Oh my goodness, what an excuse. I'm too busy. You talk about, if you don't recognize the value of your own story, and this might be your personal brand, if you can't articulate the narrative yourself authentically, how can you lead? So here we go. Here's the challenge. The 24-hour BALI challenge. I want you to just pick up your phone, turn on the video function, and have a chat. And just sort of talk through what it is that you notice in yourself as you prepare to go on video. Nothing more than that. Don't take long to do it. And then I want you to stop the video and hold that recording in your phone. Keep it. It's a bit of a benchmark for you. I want you to wait one day and then come back the next day and just talk about, again, the same sort of question. What do you notice about the way you show up on video? Has anything changed? And then I encourage you to take these two videos and watch the first one again, and then just think about the second and share with me on LinkedIn. Evan Batten is my name. I'm not the Unretired Reporter on LinkedIn, although you can search me and find me that way as well. But just go to my personal profile, and once you've taken the effort to do this 24-hour BALI challenge, I want you to just share with me in a couple of words, a text. I mean, you might want to send me a short video. Feel free to do that. It'll let you send me one that's under 2 minutes. And you might only need 60 seconds to just explain what small things have you noticed? What shift have you noticed in that period of time? The first video to the second, what observations came up for you? Did anything new emerge? Or did the same old familiar struggle just sit there uncomfortably for you? But either way, this will help you to start to start to have a conversation with yourself about what it is that you're relying on that's not helpful in your authentic connection with people on video, or what are you believing about this process that's holding you back from being present and connecting authentically with people on video. Friends, this goes right to the heart of the struggle that I had. I mentioned it before, as a news reporter. I've been doing media for about 30 years, coaching executives for the last 3 years since leaving mainstream media, hence that name, the Unretired Reporter. Retired from media, yes, but unretired in every other sense, in that the story is always in us. And I love sharing stories. You can see some of those stories I still love to do on my YouTube channel. And also here you'll see all of the things that I speak about now, that I coach people how to do themselves in Project V, about how to build out broadcast quality stories just using their smartphone, how to put themselves in the story, how to do interviews, how to capture the moments. Those three core building blocks, the basis of every documentary, news story, current affairs program. It all comes down to those three things, and you can do them all with your smartphone. I can show you how to do it efficiently, so that as a C-suite leader who is time poor, you can bring a storyteller mindset to bear for your personal brand on socials, and also for direct internal strategic comms. It is so vital to recognize the potential that you've got here with your smartphone. It is one of the most untapped executive presence leadership tools that people just seem to either avoid or just sit in the space of performative techniques that either keep you hidden or robotic, and either way disconnected, unnecessarily disconnected. And so with Project V, I take people through all of these techniques And it's really built around these set of techniques and strategy that I lived as a junior reporter, because for many, many years I floundered. And ultimately this is where I help you to shift the dial within a matter of days or weeks. Hence, 3 weeks that will change how you show up forever is the sprint program we have at the beginning, where you can get a real taste or a real sense of what this coaching can look like for you before you dive into the full Project V space. But what happened for me wasn't an experience of media training that shifted my life. It wasn't voice coaches, as well-intentioned as that was to help me show up authentically. For me, it was actually a very human experience. I had a mentor, a senior crime reporter who, I don't know that this was his intention, but what actually happened was rather than thinking about how to speak, how to show up on camera, how to perform, my focus got placed on real stories. It got placed on building connections and a network of trust within the homicide squad to start with. And then it expanded into all of the gang squads, the elite part of the New South Wales Police Force, the detectives who focused on major crime. And in doing so, in building trust with them over time, and also getting to know the families of the victims of crime, it meant that I got exclusive stories that were high value to my employer, 7, 9 and 10, the 3 commercial networks in Australia. Exclusive stories that really meant a lot in terms of editorial content. But for me as a police roundsman who was earning the trust of very influential, experienced senior police, it meant that I was able to shift the basis of why I was doing what I was doing. Why I was doing what I was doing. The core. My deep purpose. It shifted. It shifted from being, I just want to be good at being a reporter, to I want to engage, connect with real people, with real police doing actual serious investigations. And I want to show them that they can trust me. I'm going to show them that I can tell stories in a real way. And as soon as my focus shifted here, as soon as my focus shifted towards the families of the victims of crime and to honouring their stories, I found that I wasn't thinking about how I said it or what I said. I was thinking about what's important here, what really matters, and how can I say it best. I wasn't thinking about how I breathed, but suddenly it mattered to me what I was saying. Their quest for justice. Not just to go through the legal process, but to have justice. The pain that they felt. I sat there doing interviews with family members who'd never spoken before. And I saw the real anguish that they were going through, the pain that they were in because of what had happened, the stress that they were feeling about the process of being interviewed and showing up in the media, and how I could help them with that by giving them reassurance that they could trust me and this process. My purpose was bigger than just me telling a story. It was actually about helping other people. Friends, here's where it translates for you. What's your ultimate purpose in showing up? What's the human reason for wanting to connect with other people? And bring your focus away from the performance. No one really cares whether you've got your hands held in a particular way. Sure, as you know, we've seen in the past politicians kind of, I mean, look, aren't we just getting so cynical about this now? But we can look back and sort of see how media training helped them do things that persuaded the electorate to vote for them, and all these kind of gestures and things that sort of might have meant something back in the day, but they don't anymore. And so now I work with politicians, C-suite leaders all over the world, people who I've never met in person, but who have trusted me with this journey to help them change. Now you're about to start this in a 24-hour period, right? Recording 2 short videos is just the start. But friends, let me guarantee for you, this is the start of authentic connection. If you've avoided the camera or you've done it the performative way, you've both categories of people have more in common than they think. Might mean that one's everywhere on media and the other one's nowhere to be seen, but both have something very similar in common. both are avoiding showing up authentically. And that's where I can help you. And so this process, this conversation that you're starting now, is actually the start of real curiosity for yourself around what do you do to show up on video. And that might well cover the question of why you avoid it. This is the BALI Challenge, friends. I am the Unretired Reporter, Evan Batten, 30 years in mainstream media, most of it as a nightly news reporter. I started as a sound recordist. I started for 5-6 years working with camera operators, and my responsibility was to get good quality audio. I learned just as much in those years. Well, it was different what I learned, but the value of it was just as valuable as what I learned later as a news reporter, finding my authentic voice. I saw the physiological change in people who'd done media training. You know, first minute, we're sort of just having a lovely chat. I'm putting a microphone on their jacket, or helping them, testing the microphone and having a bit of a chat with them, because I'm not the reporter. I'm just here to help them look, well, I'm here to help them sound good. The camera operator's going to help them look good before the journalist comes in and asks them questions, let's say, or they go in the press conference. But what I noticed was the change for them in those seconds before they went on. The change in their breathing, the change in their posture, the expression on their face, but more importantly, how they spoke. They were willing to chat to me as a sound recordist, be telling jokes, they'd be quite candid and relaxed, and then suddenly media training kicked in. Oh, and if this is something they weren't comfortable with and would rather avoid, I could really see it. And if this was something they'd practiced, I could see it. I watched it so up close, millimeters from them, close to the action but out of the spotlight, listening intently to what they were saying. I could hear their heartbeat sometimes. I could sometimes see things coming out of their nose. The anxiety they were carrying was so profound that it was having a real physiological response for them. They wanted to sniff, like somehow it was causing their nose to run. The cortisol dump that was happening to them was just extreme. So friends, all of these things in my 30-year career in mainstream media, from the early 90s when I started as a news sound recordist, right up until 4 years ago when I left mainstream media. Actually it was 2024. I finished my time with Channel 7. I started with Channel 7 as a sound recordist. I went to Channel 10 for a decade, which is where I had the profound experience. And let me name him here. Very familiar name to you, but let me say Harry Potter, before he was the boy wizard, was one of Australia's, I think it's hard to argue that he wasn't Australia's most well-respected television news reporter. And he certainly took the time to mentor me and many other reporters who wanted to be in the crime round for obvious reasons. What a fascinating space. But his focus was always on helping people to build connections of trust and to see the value in that and to enjoy the round that he enjoyed, because it could make such a profound difference to people's lives. He saw that and he lived that. And so I'm forever thankful to Harry Potter for what he did for me in that space. But possibly just as much what has shaped the coaching that I now do with C-suite leaders all over the world was shaped by that experience of seeing the authenticity, the value of authenticity, but also my early days as a sound recordist. And all of it now informs directly the coaching work that I do with you, not only that you see through the program that you're able to go through in your own pace, a whole series of short videos that obviously you have access to around the clock, but I encourage people to prioritize giving themselves 2 20-minute windows every week to engage with the material, have a go at a series of 7 tasks, and then send them to me over WhatsApp. Now, when you engage fully in Project V, this is the coaching work that I do with you. This is the platinum offering that I have for you, is to take you through the series of techniques and strategy that will enable you to show up authentically just by using your smartphone and no other equipment. No lights, tripods or microphone, just the smartphone in your pocket. And I coach you through these techniques and we start a discussion around the strategy. That's Project V. And as I say, I'm doing it this week, even on holidays, here for a week in almost 2 weeks in Bali. It's a beautiful time. I feel so relaxed, and I love that as I relax and continue having conversations with people, and see profound changes, particularly in the early parts when they go from talking very honestly with me about the pain, literally about the pain that they feel in showing up on video, and we talk that through, and I take them through a process. I love this so much. I'm so blessed doing what I do now. After Project V, I don't just sort of cut people loose and leave them on their own. They're not offered to consult at a lower touch point, lower frequency, but to reinforce all of these things that, the techniques are important to get right, because when we're time poor, busy professionals leading teams of thousands of people, sometimes all over the world, all over the continent, it's so vital to have a capability that's not focused on time-consuming video content creation, but it actually honors this idea that, well, really outsourcing your story is a surefire way to weaken your impact. As soon as you get a comms team in to make the video for you, you've weakened the impact. And so how to keep an authentic connection going well for busy, time-poor leaders, I bring a real sharp focus to how to maintain the efficient part of the techniques. What's the bare minimum? What's the quickest way to get there? To do it in 1 or 2 takes. Really get it done the first take. Not because you have to get it done the first take, but because once you've got 2 good takes, then you've got to choose which one you want to use, right? The techniques that I've showed people how to do in Project V and support them to do in Project V Plus as their consultant really honors this idea of their time is valuable. They need to be able to do interviews the first time and just get it right. They need to be able to capture the moments efficiently, because why spend money having TV crews travel with you all over the world to show what you do when the leaders who are doing the travel already can just take out their smartphone that they've got in their pocket and use the TV studio broadcast capabilities that smartphone has to capture the moments. Show us the before and after. Tell us the behind the scenes story. Show it consistently by doing it first time. Put a spotlight on your staff teams. Enhance corporate culture by rewarding the people who have shown excellence in particular areas. Honour them by sharing their story. If you do that and not leave that to the comms team or somebody else, if you as the CEO do that, my goodness, there will not be a better use of your time to get it right the first time. To get broadcast quality out of your phone without using a microphone or a tripod or lights. And so this is where the coaching support that I provide afterwards, Project V Plus, really comes into its own. But friends, all of that is possibly something to think about for down the track. This starts with you seeing what is really at the heart of how you show up on video now. That's the very first step. So I encourage you to take that now. That's the BALI 24-hour BALI challenge. Send me a note. Keep it short. Let me know what you thought. And if you want to keep the conversation going, in the meantime, enjoy with me this wonderful view. BALI, August 2026.